Welcome, everybody. My name is Arjun Roy, producer, recordist, mix engineer, coming at you from Grande Prairie, Alberta, my hometown. We are recording at Better Than Fred's, a legendary venue, epic bar and purveyor of fine barbecues. So this is episode 8 of a series of podcasts or, unedited conversations that I'm calling the Hometown Hustle. This deals with my artistic journey through the arts and music scene in the Peace Country and all the people who helped me get where I am today. Today, in fact, I'm so happy to have with me a true original, one of my good friends, the OG, the Rastaprairian himself, Budiman. Welcome, dude.
Thank you.
Man, I'm so happy that you're here, Budi. I'm excited that we can do this.
Yeah.
It's always good chatting.
Yeah.
I feel like moving back to town. I don't know when I saw you. It may have been downtown. It may have been here.
Yeah.
It may have been at like the Bear Creek Folk Fest. I don't know. It was like end of the summer 2017. But I was so happy to see you because we had like such a.
Yeah, you were in Boston for so long.
Yeah, so. Boston and Spain. Yeah. I feel like we had a lot of shared experiences in like the art scene here.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you're a good friend. So it was just like really good to reconnect.
You too. Yeah.
So maybe let's start with my first memory of seeing you here, and then we'll kind of work backwards and all that kind of stuff. So I think it was in 2004. I believe.
Long ago, eh?
Yes. So many of the reference points for things that happened when I talk to people since being back are like, remember that thing that happened?
Yes.
Oh, that was 15 years ago. Wow.
2004. 2014.
It's exactly 15. But it was it was a tsunami relief show, right? Like it was a fundraiser. There'd been at BJ's Q Club in Grande Prairie.
Yeah.
There'd been a tsunami in Indonesia.
That's right.
And I was in the band No One's Alone at the time. We were doing a bunch of stuff. We played a lot, and we were asked, I think, by the Sun FM folks at the time.
Yes. I think they're
like
doing
Dave Sawchuk, Scott Belford, and those guys who were. So Sun FM, just for some context, is the radio station in Grande Prairie. They played everything.
What good guys, those
and
guys.
They were absolutely, and they were all wonderful supporters
Shout out
of arts.
to those guys, Scott Belford and David Sawchuk.
Scott, Dave, exactly.
Do so much for the community.
And now, of course, we have Rock 97 and a few other radio stations who are also super cool. At that time, there was one, and I mean, we're so fortunate that they always had our back.
That's true.
They would set up these events.
Yeah. Also, we see the CD expanded, eh?
Yeah.
Ever since 2000, because I came legally 2000.
Oh, okay. So. Got it.
I was here in 98 for a year.
98. Wow.
I came for a year, just travel around.
Yeah. Wow, man. Well, that was so 2004, man.
Yes.
That's when we were all playing the show.
That's right.
And so I hadn't heard of you at the time, but I think when we got some further details about playing, they said, okay, these are the bands playing. There was Staggered Crossing, who were, huge, like they were big in Canada at the time. I don't know if you remember those guys.
No. Man.
They're, again, fine Canadian band.
I remember it was a good time. That's all I remember. It was just such a good,
absolutely,
gathering. A
totally.
Band, or whatever you want to call it.
The other person on the bill was Budiman, and so I heard the term, and like when people say things, sometimes they mispronounce things.
Yeah.
Like Wimbledon is going on right now, and I can't tell you like how many people I hear every day say Wimbledon. It's not a big deal, but but you catch it. You're like, what did they say?
Yeah.
And so I think somebody said Budiman in a way that I thought it was Booty Man, right? I'm like, this is 2004. Who can call themselves Booty Man and get away with it? Who is this Booty
that is
Man?
True. What is
what is their connection to this, tsunami relief in Indonesia business, right?
Yeah.
And so,
I never thought of that. I know. Okay.
And it's not even a thing. It's just like just this like fleeting moment of trying to figure out like what did that person say? And then we get there, and of course, it's you.
Yeah.
And the connection obviously was that you were from Indonesia originally.
Yeah.
And as soon as you hit the stage, I totally got your vibe. I mean, you're just so pure in being like a folk and a reggae artist.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, like this Budiman, not Booty Man.
Yeah, it's a
Budiman. This guy is
how
awesome,
you say it?
dude.
In Indonesia, you said Budiman.
Okay. Oh, yeah, of course.
Budiman.
Budiman, yeah.
Yeah,
I got
people
you.
always say Budiman.
Exactly. That's just it, man.
I didn't know my name was so interesting until I came to Canada.
Right. No, it's, again, man, it's...
Yeah. Sometimes I just to just so don't have a conversation. Sometimes I always tell like delivery, if I order food, I just say buddy. I don't want to say booty.
Right.
What,
Buddy.
booty?
Yeah, booty, of course. Like, what is that?
Or people in the bar like, oh, let me see your driver's license. Your name is not Budi, man. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, whatever.
Are these Canadian birthers?
Yeah.
Like, what is the deal here?
Yeah, now I embrace it. I think I
dude.
I make fun of it. It's
Man,
cool.
you know what? It's you, and that's the thing. That's what that's what I always appreciate about you is like, you've always been such an authentic person.
Yeah. Oh
you
yeah,
know?
like this lady yesterday. I haven't seen her in so long. She's like, oh yeah, this is Budi man, and that's his real name. I'm like, why do you have to
Like the
say like that's his
disclaimer,
real name? I'm just like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's funny though.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's like all her family is like, this is Budi man, and it's
That's
his real name. I'm like, why do you have to say his real name? I said that is.
Oh my gosh, that's like an album title, like
I
Booty
just
Man,
want
like
them to know so
real
they
name.
don't have to think that, like you're an ass man. Like, I don't care what you think of me, No, just
That's incredible.
embrace it.
Dude,
so
that's just
bad.
it. Like I said, I mean, you've always been an authentic person and an authentic artist, and that's what I was drawn to when I first saw you perform. I'm not sure
Thank
what
you.
material you were performing at the time, but it was great, man.
I
It
think
was you and an
I
acoustic.
from a Beach Boys, one of my, I think second song ever, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, In Bali.
Of course.
Yeah, Rastaprairian.
Well, so that was my first memory of meeting you.
Yeah.
But of course, so that was 2004, and you'd been here since when?
2000.
2000. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Legally, I was here in 98, just traveling around for a year, and I went back at the end of 98 to, get my paper sorted out, and it just takes a year.
Yeah.
And then,
Cool. Let's go way back.
Yes.
Let's go way back.
Yeah.
So you were born in Indonesia.
I'm born in Lombok.
Lombok, yeah. Tell me about your childhood, man.
Grew up in Lombok. Mataram, it's called the city.
Yep.
Yeah, just the next island east of Bali. Yeah. Grew up, like just pure magic with all this island traffic and all that. Was pretty great. Like childhood,
Yeah.
But then, life always makes it colorful.
Of course.
My dad died was young.
Oh, wow.
I was
okay.
in junior high.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So that like makes it a little bit colorful after.
Certainly.
It's hard, when your dad die young, it's just like, then who you look up to, like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
how many siblings do you have?
I have 10, but 3 die.
Right.
So 7 survive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you like the middle child? Or the oldest, youngest?
I am the third. I am the middle because one died before me.
Okay.
So there's my oldest brother Arjuna. That's why his name is Arjuna.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My oldest brother.
Yep.
And then I think one died, and then my second brother, my second oldest, Kardiman.
Okay.
And then another kid, and then die, because back in those days, there's no boxing. I don't know what's going on, but so there's one die after Kardiman, and then I'm born. I am the middle child,
Right.
and then there's one die after my 2 younger brother, and one die, and then we have 1 girl and 1 boy. So I have
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, I have 4 brothers, 1 sister.
Cool.
Yeah. That's still life now. So
Growing up, did you guys live? I know that like a lot of songs that I remember first hearing are to do with like the beach and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you guys live near the beach, on the beach? Was that was like beach life part of your life growing up, or is it something else?
In the little bit outside of the city,
Okay.
like 10 minutes by horse and cart.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
But I grew up there, and then after I go to college for a year, and then I seen my brothers just always bring like a foreigner to my house because he was working in like a cottage on Gili. It's called Gili Island. It's very famous. 3 little tiny island, the Gili Islands, just out. It's still Lombok, part of Lombok, but yeah.
Cool.
So he always bring tourists home, and I'm just like, this is pretty interesting. Like he speak English and all that, and like they teach you English in high school and college, but it means nothing until you try to make a conversation, and it just goes. What it goes away, right? It's completely different when what you hear and what So and then he asked me for a job because my mom couldn't afford it after second years.
Yeah.
I was going to be lawyer, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to be human right lawyer.
Wow.
That's my plan.
That's amazing. Yeah.
After junior high, I was set because I was good in school and. But yeah.
What drew you to law, real quick?
This is 95, 96. Yeah.
What drew you to wanting to become a lawyer?
Become
and human rights and that kind of thing?
Because I grew up with a dictator. I grew up with Suharto, I think that's why I just rebel when it comes to politics, when it comes to all that, because army, you couldn't say anything to like a cop. They can just beat you in public and then they're in the right.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how back then there's no camera, right?
Of course.
100 people can see you and just like their worth mean nothing to the government office. So the army is like everything. Yeah. Army is God, like they're God, Yeah. So you people really oppress, like
Absolutely.
At the same time, what he's good about was like everything was safe. Like the country was so safe, because he make it like
oh yeah, of course.
But it's good. It's not all bad. I mean, but just the way he just ruled the country, and then you heard about the real thing, but that's what not portrayed in public and stuff. Like,
absolutely.
I
hear you, man.
Basically.
Well, I mean, thank you for sharing, man. Like that kind of.
Well, I mean, I go back to that. That's why I grew up try to be an artist, because I what my brother, that's kind of like my influence, Budiman, the second oldest, because he was into music. He plays guitar early, just figured out himself, but he would never let me play his guitar.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so when he just go, I just steal it from him and go to my room and just learn it my own. I figure it out my own.
Yeah.
So most of my life like that, I just figure it out my own. Trying anyway.
Yeah. Did you grow up with siblings who played a lot of music already? Was there like a sort of a draw to music and the arts at an early age? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, because Indonesia is such a very... one thing, it's beautiful, but the other thing, the music, the culture, the paint, the art, it's amazing. Every corner you come out like at 2:00 in the morning. Sometimes you get out of bed, just naked. As a kid, I remember just walking and there's people jamming in the corner. And I would just like, they were just like, "What are you doing?" And they'll just grab me and put me back in my bed. It'll be like my uncle, one of those, jamming. And it'll be loud and just this good music, street music. It's called dangdut.
Okay.
I think they get it from India.
Right.
It's like Indian influence with it, that sound,
the tabla,
exactly.
Tabla, dholak, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of like the street, but the traditional is just everyday thing. Every time there's a band, somebody die, somebody get married, and there'll be gamelan, right?
Those, man,
So it's just music in your ear, your whole life, and art, like especially visual, like all the tribal, like drawing.
Exactly.
And like Balinese culture, painting, all those, and then the puppet, the puppet thingy, they play,
And I mean, also like architecture, religious architecture, I'd imagine.
Yes.
Like a lot of stuff like that.
And like traditional, like bamboo architecture. I grew up full of art. Like my whole life, it just,
That's cool, man. Yeah. The interesting thing is I wanted to make sure that I asked you about that, because there's certain parallels, I think, like in our childhood in a way, because I was born in India and I sort of grew up being a kid there before we moved away. And so a lot of like my childhood kind of touchstones are more to do with that.
How old are you before you go to England?
So we moved to Saudi Arabia first from England.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember you
It's
told me this.
depending on where you're from, it's hard to move to certain places. And so for my parents, it's the classic kind of immigrant story. They wanted to move for a better life, the whole thing, and so it's hard to move straight to like the U.S. or Canada or England or something. So so like Indian people, people from that, exactly. It's just you have to have like some kind of other move, and a lot of people from that part of the world go to the Middle East, right? And so we went to Saudi Arabia first. I was 89. I was maybe 8 years old when we moved to Saudi Arabia. At that time,
so you still have a vivid memory about India and in between those, right?
And when we were in Saudi, like I know we went back to India. I don't know if it was every summer or winter, but we went back at least, once a year, I feel like. Because, our whole family's there, and then from Saudi, we moved so we were there when the Gulf War was on, and so we moved there, the Gulf War started, and then we were stuck there because, like, they closed down airspace and everything. And then once that finished up, we moved, my parents were able to get a visa to move to England in 1993. And so that's what we did, which again, I feel like even just those couple of things are like, an entire other conversation.
How old were you in 93?
In 93, I was born in 82. So I was like 10 turning 11. And so I moved to England at that time in 93, and then we moved to Canada in 1997. And so, like when people talk about like, hey, remember being a kid and watching like Mr. Dress Up or something, I'm like, no, like I know all of these references now, like having kids and like just being here. But like when I was a kid, it was similar, like people ask me about the sort of draw to music and art as well. And I don't have like a story where it's like, I have like some member of my family is like some famous artist. And so I wanted to, take after them. It was similar to what you were saying, in that just like living in certain parts of the world, like you're always surrounded by music. Like that's part of the communal thing.
So you were like that, like all art,
all the time, and it was just always happening.
What about in the Middle East? There's art there?
I mean, so in discussing a lot of that stuff, like I can only speak for myself and my own experience. Being in the Middle East, I was at an age where I was starting to be more aware of my surroundings.
That's right.
Being like 7, 8 to 10 years old, that kind of thing. I went to school. School was a big thing. I did a lot of martial arts there. And that was about it. Culturally, it's a different place. It was a different time.
You fit in there, but as soon as they do, how's that culture like?
Right.
As soon as they know that, whatever, some people, well, I remember when we were a kid, because go back to Indonesia is like Muslim country, the biggest Muslim country in the world. So I remember I have a Hindus people and stuff like that. Just because there's, I don't know, the way people act to certain like minority, that's why I'm so understanding now that I am the minority when I came to Canada.
Yeah, man. No, I understand. It's exactly as you describe. There's just a certain. I don't know. There's like an unspoken friction sometimes, but a big part of that is being from India, especially India, any of those countries, being in some of the wealthy, being in the Middle East, like you're already kind of looked down upon for a variety of reasons. Yeah, man. I mean,
I guess so, because now Indonesian people, they all work in Middle East. They all work in Saudi Arabia because they have the Muslim connection. I guess they wanna be a driver, anything,
of course.
like housekeeping. Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, because of the massive amount of sort of infrastructure building and projects like that all of the Middle East was going through at that time. Now you have like this very cosmopolitan kind of like the Middle East that you see in movies, right? Like the Burj Khalifa, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I mean, back then, it was all that stuff didn't exist. Like it was still being built. And so a lot of the people specifically from, like countries like India and stuff were part of the workforce. And there are a lot of people who are still there, who moved. And they found gainful employment, and they decided to stay, and they make it work. For us, I was a kid, so people didn't necessarily bug me and stuff like that, but I know that,
But that's an interesting age, though. That's when you absorb everything, right?
Exactly. looking back on it now, there's a lot of stuff that now I understand, like I understand the context. And,
God,
and that kind of thing is like, that's like another entire conversation in itself, like just fascinating stuff. But, all things considered, again, and this is a testament to my parents, really, like, they always took care of me and my sister. She's 4.5 years younger than I. And, childhood wise, like it was as good as it could have been,
That's good.
Like we were, like
must be very colorful because you're moving like 4 different places.
Exactly. Yeah, man. And I remember like when I was a kid, it probably seemed weird, or like you think like, oh, I'm gonna miss my friends, but like I really wouldn't change it for anything. Like all the experiences, I think
your kid always says that. Oh, I'm gonna miss that. My son is like, like
totally.
It's like sponge, right? You get with your environment quick, like
that's just it.
Different than adult.
Yeah, that's just it. So all in all, it was again as good as it could have been. And I'm grateful for the experience, just like the perspective, the worldliness. Like nowadays people, like their TED Talks to talk about how like everyone has to travel and all that kind of stuff. And I understand where that's coming from. Like we did it as a matter of necessity.
Yes.
And I also understand the benefits of seeing different things, and also being out of my element, like moving to a place where, you might look like a lot of the people, but you're like, a minority. And sometimes you're treated as such. You become aware of that stuff. Like you do a lot of growing up in those,
but it's okay
times.
to be like that. It makes you a character.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's like dude. People always worry. They always want to be happy or something. What does that even mean?
Of course.
Like, you need to live like.
Yes, dude. There's, thinking about it now, like there's so much growth that happens in times of discomfort, like, I mean, there's so much stuff that I understand now, so many things that I think about, or even like things, concepts that I became open to thinking about because I was uncomfortable, because I was in a place where like I was weird or different or new or something like that, you figure out a bunch of stuff. And you also figure out a lot about like people and human nature and dealing with people. And I mean, that kind of stuff, I mean, it pays off when you're, even when you're a teenager, like you just understand people. I mean, and I think understanding people, situations, being able to read a situation, being able to understand a person's backstory, like, again,
if you can afford it, you should travel, if you can afford it.
And that's it. Nowadays, if you could, I mean, with like, cheap flights everywhere and stuff like that, even if you travel to like another part of Canada, or you travel to another part of the US or to Mexico or something, it's so valuable.
Like, when you're in a new place, you feel rejuvenated.
Rejuvenate, yeah.
Because like just people sometimes they I'm telling people don't have a fear of anything. Don't worry about like people have too many worries. If I go this, so I just need so much money, or this is like. Man, just do it. Like,
of course, and I feel like again, this is just my read on it. You may agree or not, but I feel like growing up, where we did, like you learn to. Again, this is not to downplay problems that people have here, but like I remember just in India. Going places, you see people like living on the sidewalk, like, we might live in a small house and be super poor, but then there's another person living on the sidewalk outside the house in a box, and like, that's their home. And there's like a person and 2 kids living there, they're like taking a shower on the side of the road, and you're always reminded like, man,
I stepped over dead body in the city in Lombok, and I thought it was like he's sleeping and he's like died because we probably like have no medical, can't afford it, or like it just, like, and I seen this, like, I was walking with my mom, and it's just like, why that guy doesn't move? I'm just like, you know, oh, just never mind, and I just stop. But I stop, and I just like,
you're curious.
I just like he was covered by, on the side there's a newspaper. I kick it, the newspaper, and you just like totally step the guy. I'm pretty sure he was dead. But people just get on with their life because
that's the thing.
We're poor ourselves, we gotta be able to have that food for that day,
Of course, of course. Then, it's easy for people to take that train of conversation and take it to a place where it's like, well, that means you don't care about other people. But I think like actually for me, it's that, you have so much empathy for everyone around you because you see people, no matter what kind of situation you're in, you see people who have it much harder and you feel for them, and it also makes you understand. Like,
you question yourself. You're a kid, right? And like, why does somebody, like, why my mom doesn't want me to like look after or like look up, at least call somebody or something, right? But my mom says like, oh, you'll see this in the city. Like people like they from everywhere. They said they try to get a job or something because it's already so hard to find a job and they have to scrape by to eat from whatever they can, garbage, and live on the sidewalk and
And it's a heck of a thing, man.
It's pretty crazy.
I don't know if you get this or you got, nowadays or whenever, but, when I was younger, probably when I moved to Canada, definitely when I went to university, like when I hit that age, like 20, 21, when I started to have like, like an independent sense of self and like my own group of friends, like that kind of thing. But the stuff you do when you're like in your late teens and you're going to university, people would always say like, hey, like you seem to have an attitude where you're like, don't care about anything, or you're super easygoing, and sometimes that would turn into like naivete and stuff. And it's like, it's not that. It's like when you've grown up seeing everything, like very little shakes you because you understand like, my situation, I even like right now, like going through divorce and separation, the stuff that goes with it. It's like, that's hard. Man, people who go through with that, I feel for them. At the same time, in the back of my mind, I am so thankful that I'm in a place where, their support, like, communally,
that's what
from
I
the government, from Canada, from Grande Prairie.
This city is gosh. This city means everything to me. Everything. I could never be an artist if I've been in Indonesia. People say, go get a freaking job. Like, what are you doing? Like, you suck. And they're literally your own family and just like, how you going to feed us today?
Of course. That's just it.
Go steal some chicken or go something,
For sure, man. We don't have to, we don't have to live in that way. And again, that's not saying that it's a good or a bad thing. It's just different. And being here,
Grande Prairie is freaking great. Like I love like so many. I know so many people. Like just like
That's just it. And I hate being like. I always feel like I'm that person in a conversation, who's always going to say something like, come on guys, it's not that bad, or but like I really feel that way because I coming from elsewhere, like I'm always reminded of how like 90% of the world has it, and so when there are issues that pop up here, even if they're like pretty terrible, for me or whatever.
That's my
phone. Is that your phone? Oh, no, grab it, it's all good. For sure. All good, man.
Probably work.
Work, of course.
Who's calling?
Yeah. It's all good, man. Take your time. You can answer if you need to.
That's
okay.
Sorry about that.
No, dude, don't even worry about it, man. I mean, again, that's the reality of like trying to do what we do. Exactly. There's the artwork and then there's like work, right?
Yes.
And hopefully one day both can become the same. But really quickly to finish up my train of thought, I always feel like I'm that guy in a conversation who says things like, come on guys, it could be worse. But that's because, again, growing up, you know how 90% of the world lives.
Sorry to cut you up on that. Like, trust me, like living in Canada is like, to me, it's like living in heaven.
Oh, of course.
Why I say that? Because of the opportunity here. Like literally you can work and you can live like really good.
Yeah.
You have a place over if you just work,
Right.
Like in Indonesia, there is no job. You got to invent your job. I invent my job there. I was freelance guide. I have to learn English. I make myself like learn English so I can, because I think that was the easiest way at the time.
Right.
I can take them to go to the volcano and they pay me like, like $20, and people make those a month back in the early, like mid 90s.
Well, that's a perfect segue into you were thinking about being a human rights lawyer, right? And then you got a job. And then what happened after that? What was the job that because your brother
Yeah,
you
that's right. Oh, no, go ahead. But you were
Hmm.
talking about, listen, I cut you off there.
Oh, no,
about,
it's okay. I was just trying to wrap up that train of thought that,
you always have to say, people here, like, they didn't realize they got it really good.
Right,
here.
absolutely.
Like, I mean, like Ramona Pizza, for example, we give the homeless pizza. Nobody pays for pizza down there. If we know they're homeless and they ask for it. Hey, I'm hungry, and we always because why not? Like we throw away all the leftover food so much every morning anyway. That's why I love about the family owner of Ramona Pizza, man. Like I think we're the only one that doing that.
Right. I mean, and you guys have done that for a long time too.
I didn't know for longest time because I seen homeless people later. Like, oh, like so many homeless people order pizza from here. I just never noticed that, But until the paper, the Grande Prairie, somebody put like because some lady said, oh, I'll pay for that homeless guy's pizza, and then my boss says, no, we always give them food here. They come in here to get and then it's a big deal. I love
it.
It
is, man, and that's the thing.
Go back to living. We're lucky here. I'm so glad. I came to Canada. And then when it comes to art, you can be an artist here. You
exactly.
can. I didn't know that before. Before, like white people telling me I can't be who I want to be. That's hard. When you grew up liking an art and they think you're like such a weirdo. Why can't you? Go. I used to groom a rooster.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry. This is kind of like it's illegal in Canada. Like a cockfight.
Yeah. Right.
That's our tradition. Been 1,000 years, right?
Right.
For somebody married or somebody that needs money, basically the whole village would organize a cockfight. But it's fight to the death.
Right.
So the diet chicken, everybody eat it. We cook the whole thing. Nothing goes to waste.
Of course.
And then the winning percentage that goes to somebody that gets married for their, to be able to afford it with all the village food that you feed everybody. That's how they do it. The whole village got and eat, right? So everybody eat. But that's what I mean. Go back to what we were talking about, job, right?
Jobs, yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
So I picked to be learning English because I think I always have modern, a forward thinking. Because I grew up my uncle, I remember he taught me about airplane.
Oh, okay.
Because he was interested in that, and then I understand how airplane flies when I was 9. How the engine. I forget now, but I remember. That stick in my mind, stuff like that. So when I was after college, there I'm just what can I do now? My mom couldn't afford it. I want to be a lawyer, but you know what? Whatever I can be, maybe I'll be an artist. I'm thinking, but how am I gonna get there? How am I gonna? And I'm thinking, oh yeah, my brother works in a tourism. And I beg him, he wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me work there, and I finally just swap with my friend one day to the island. We have no money. We have to travel for 2 hours, and then from that harbor to the little tiny island is an hour. We just have enough money there. My brother wasn't there at the first time, so we go to his work because that's how you find a job. At the time you just go and talk. Hey, can I get a job? You know? So he wasn't there. I'm like, shit, what we gonna do? We have no money. We got nothing to eat. We sleep in the mosque. We just sleep in the mosque, and then for some reason we're just talking, and I know a little bit of English, and I just talked to this lady, and I said, "Oh, I'm looking for accommodation." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'll show you this place." But not my brother place, because the guy there was a dick to me, because he was like, "Oh, you're this little brother, we have no job for you."
Right, of course,
whatever.
Of course.
So I bring this guest to the next door, to their cottage, and the guy gave me a commission. I didn't know.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh, thanks for bringing guests here. Do you need something to eat?" And just yes. So me and a friend were he doesn't know how to speak English. I just know a little bit, and we eat, and then they hire us.
Cool. Cool. Is this what you were talking about a second ago about making your own work, taking people up to the volcano and stuff? Is this tied to that?
Yeah, because I work in a restaurant, and then the first time, right? Because what I do every day is okay, you got a job, but every day you have to go to the harbor and bring some tourists to the accommodation.
Right.
I'm just it's hard in the beginning, because there's a lot of competition. But
everybody's doing that, right? Everybody's hustling like and doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's like harbor and full with horse cart ready, and I don't have horse cart. I just walk over there. Okay. It's pretty hard, it's hot and it's like it's beautiful, but you have no money. It's like you live tough, in like a rich area, but you really have nothing, and then. You can sleep in the mosque for free because, that's what you do.
That's what you do, yeah.
If you go to Indonesia, if you have no place to sleep, go to the mosque. It's okay if you're other Christian or whatever your religion, just go there and just be nice and, just sleep in the mosque. It's always empty, the mosque, to sleep on.
And that's the thing, man. Like, growing up, it was the same kind of thing. Like, there's that sense of charity and stuff. Yeah. Like, same thing, no matter what the denomination of anybody was. I mean, growing up in India, people of every faith, whether it's Christian, whether it's whether it's people who are Jewish or whatever, and like, most of the time, like, everyone's cool, man.
Oh,
I mean, that's just what it is.
Think just because it's Muslim country, like, I don't know, if you're smart, maybe you go to the mosque, you really have no money, right? You go to the mosque, you're not a Muslim, you just need to sleep. The place is clean, and people are so welcome because they know you're coming to their mosque, or some people, they look after the mosque, they'll feed you, they'll, I mean, if you want to lie, just say it like whatever, like, hey, I want to learn about something just to get the sleep the night, whatever you have to do, but at least you got a place to sleep, like you got to, maybe it'll teach, maybe person that you met will teach you something. Yeah, that's weird about life, eh? Yeah. But that's what I do. I work.
That's what you did, yeah.
Yeah, I pick up tourists in the harbor. Most of the time I get it, like in a day, maybe I get one or two, but at least I get a place to eat and then give me a bed to sleep, with my buddy. My buddy just work in the kitchen because he can't speak English. Later on, he knows. After like 5 years, for him so hard to learn, but it's weird. But I just learned so fast.
That's great.
And then I start selling T-shirt. I draw I draw. And then I silk screen. My buddy do silk screen, so I would just just buy cheap white T-shirt. I buy in bulk. And then I would bring it to the island. I would stock them all in the restaurant where I work.
Right.
And all the Japanese kid loves it.
Yeah.
Because I remember I probably create the first time, like there's so many sarong now. If you go to Bali, the gecko that have sex in so many positions and little. I think I did that first. I make a gecko that like have sex basically, and I just printed silk screen and I remember the family that come holiday on this island. There's so many Japanese goes there, and the young kids like ask their parent to buy the T-shirt on the wall, and you buy it for like maybe like half a Canadian cent, and you sell it for like $2. That's a good money.
That's a great markup.
Back in the day, you could live in the mid 96, 97 there, you could live for like 50 cents, probably $1.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the thing, the nature of money and the nature of economies between, Canada and the US and Europe, and then the rest of the world is so different. Like I forget, I forget what the exchange rate is, but I think for like the US dollar to rupees in India, it's like maybe 27 or something like that. So like that's a lot of money. That's that's a huge difference. Could you talk a little bit about the nature of tourism, like when you were there? Like where, so there were a lot of Japanese tourists primarily at the time. Were there tourists from all over the world? Yep.
Japanese, Australian, and Germany, Britain, like British, and Scandinavian. There's a lot of Scandinavian.
Now, were a lot of people traveling sort of like with families? Were a lot of people out there sort of doing like adventure traveling? Like were there a lot of people
anything you can think of. There's a lot of backpacker. There's a lot of family. That's most of it, just backpacker and family. And nowadays a lot of people move there because they have internet business. They just want to live nice, and they just live because it's so cheap down there. Usually you can rent room for $100 a month out there, and another $100 to live really nice. So spend $200.
Well, I mean, also to live in a tropical kind of place, to eat and then go swimming. Like if those are the kinds of things that appeal to you, man. If that's what you crave, if that's what makes you happy, I mean. Go for it. I mean, in 2019, like so many people are able to do that. Like so many people, just like you were saying, you created a job. You created some things that
always whatever
work for you.
What makes you happy, and
exactly. Exactly. Man, oh man,
yeah, so
that's
there's a lot of
fascinating.
family.
Okay.
I met a lot
Yep.
of like a couple of family that's still in touch with me till today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're, because I was working and then we become friends and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tourism area because you meet everybody from everywhere.
Yeah.
You always have a good conversation. That's what good about traveling, right?
Yeah.
You just meet so many interesting people.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. And I feel like a lot of people when they're traveling, like they're, maybe it's not fair to say, but I feel like a lot of people are more open when they're traveling.
Yeah.
Because
They're
not
happier, first of all.
They're
That's
not
what it is.
in like their everyday, right? Like in town, in their life, in their work, they're a certain person.
Yeah.
But when they're traveling, they can kind of, like explore who they are.
Yes.
I feel like people are generally like a little bit more open. They can discuss things.
Yeah.
They can,
It's almost
anyway.
also it's easier
Lost my train of
to
thought,
make friend like that if you like if you click with a person because you starting meeting you show them around or whatever, right, and then they trust you whatever, and then you I don't know, you take them to volcano and then you get to know them more,
right.
And then after that like when same situation when they're party, when they're drunk, like people tell like they're like whatever their problem,
Yeah.
and then during the day would be their holiday, they but you get to know everything about the person because what their life when they're not on holiday,
Yep.
but like you get a glimpse of it's pretty
Totally.
cool.
That is, man. That's interesting.
Yeah, you get so many character that you see, you're like wow. Yeah.
Now, were you playing and writing music at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
I was writing all Indonesian song, but I sing in a bar all English song, just cover songs.
Okay.
I never wrote English song till I came to Canada.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Did the again, one of the first songs I heard by you was Beach Boys, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm assuming that is
because
like talking about that
I
whole
was
scenario.
A Beach Boys, yeah.
Which is a great song, by the way, man. I remember first hearing it and hearing it again recently after coming back, and it's just one of those things that only a person who has lived that, like could write a song like that because it's just like it's so authentic. I mean, there's no other way to do it.
What happened, right? After I master, I mean, compared to now, oh my God, my English wasn't even not even close, but I thought I was good enough to, because I never scared to make conversation in English. I make mistake.
Right.
That's okay. This is the trick. If you want to learn language, just blab it out. Don't stop talking. Just blab it out because people will catch you mistake and they correct you, and you know more.
Exactly.
The more they correct you, the next person you talk to, the more like fluent. Like
Totally.
that's how I learn English.
Absolutely.
I make mistake and they all laugh. I mean, they think I'm like funny because But that's how I learn English. And then when I learn, be able to like bring people to volcano, I can organize like I don't have to climb volcano with tourists. I can get 3 to 5 of them and give them somebody that bring these people you can rent to bring them food. They barely speak English, but they know road to the volcano.
I got you.
They don't talk, and tourists likes them. They with their group of friends. They get 3 meals a day. This is their price. This is my commission. So I make such a good money because, like, I don't know. When you know English and people don't know English because they don't know the price. I charge tourists in dollar and they get in rupiah.
Right. I
Basically,
gotcha.
it's like I make really good money, which is bad to say. They make really little, but they think they make a lot because because I say, for example, I charge per tourist $100. Probably the people that go tracking with them, I probably pay them like $30.
Right.
I keep like $70.
Yep.
I'm like, that's a good money. So when I learn how to do I take some tourists to go see dolphin or whatever. I'm just the one that talk because not many people speaking English, right? So I just tell them, you bring them see turtle, you know where the area is, and I just, so they love me, they get money from me, I get money from the, so, and then, you make a friend because they know that you charge really little, people.
Of course.
People sometimes, I don't know, I should be a businessman, but I never like to be a salesman.
Yeah,
I know I think I could do it, but I don't like it because sometimes because all my family in selling stuff, my mom always in the fresh market, like my oldest brother, he works in the bank and stuff like that. Anyway, but I didn't never want to, like people always charge too much because they think it's tourist, right? Oh, they have money, they come here for a holiday.
Yep.
But no, they're not like that, because I know, I talk to them. They're not all, like I know that they're not rich. They for our standard, they're rich, but for their standard, the way how much they pay monthly, their bill, they're
just
not
a regular
rich.
person.
They have to save money. So by me telling them, look, I'll just tell you, this is how much it is. This is how much I'm paying this guy. I need to live. I said, and then tonight I'll buy you this like palm wine. It's on me, but you pay me this much, and you party with me, and they love, you become. So that's how I do, and then I didn't have to work anywhere. So basically, I just ran like a bungalow on the tourist area, and I just like organized a trip all day long. And then if I like somebody that I want to show them like more to myself that no tourist goes to, then I'll just take them personally. You know, after I get to know them.
Of course.
Some people that I choose to just take it along with me. And then I was living great life, like so many girls from everywhere. It's so weird. I mean, speaking about that, tourism area is weird. Like, remember they make about Bali, something about Bali, about how beach boys in Bali, they all like taking money from tourists. And that's like, I mean, what do you expect? There's a prostitute everywhere in the world. Like if you have no job, if you and then you don't have a good foundation growing up from your parent, of course you wanna the cheapest way out, or like selling yourself, whatever it is, that's everywhere. But anyway, but my experience, man, I was young, and then I date like one Indonesian girl, like maybe like kind of after like high school, but in Indonesia you don't date, like you date.
Of course. You get to know someone and then you like get married or something. I'm
always thinking modern, nothing. But in Indonesia, back in the day, if you go to somebody, you can go on like 10 dates in one night. You can go to somebody's house that you like, and they have to like welcome you. When you certain age, right? You go to, but their parents sit beside them, and then you're talking about, like, oh, what do you do today, or something like. Well, their parent like pretend not hearing you, but they know.
Of course.
I'm just like, I don't like this.
Of course.
I mean, but I did it at the time because I thought I was going to marry this one girl or whatever, right? And then, but as soon as I got the taste of like taking like tourists and stuff, make my own money, and then I think. I think like it's kind of like married. I guess like I date like just like white girls and Japanese girl.
Got it.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting.
You're so young, you live in a tourist and people party there. So I have that lifestyle that just so much fun.
Of course.
When my after high school, that was like just the best time ever.
Totally.
Because
I mean, I have if you think about like your Facebook feed, like how many people do you know who, yearly, they might take a couple of holidays and like everyone goes to Thailand or Indonesia or something like that, and they go because, like you live here or someplace, like you want to go blow off some steam. You want to go to a tropical place. You want to get out of the cold, and so... I mean, I get you, man. Like people are traveling to have a good time. When you're a certain age, and depending on what the situation is like, I mean, people are seeking out experiences, and that's so much of what that kind of tourism is, I think. Of course, this is speaking from, my own experience and like point of view or whatever, but I get that.
But I mean, but I grew up though hard because
of course
it's funny. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I was wondering what happened to my eyes, right? I recently, like this past, I would say 7 years, I'm just like, what really happened to my eyes? Because I noticed since I was like a little kid, probably like 4 years old, I have this like, like little bit different, eyesight or whatever. And my mom says like, like maybe she doesn't want to hurt my feeling or something, whatever happened, blah, blah, blah. And when I go to specialists here, and they said they couldn't fix my eyes because it's so damaged. It looks like when I was a kid, I fall into a cement or into a rock. And it's like, the rock is not flat like this, maybe like this. And then it just hit right in the eyeball. They said it's really damaged. We can't do nothing. I'm like, like maybe I got somebody push me from the back, and I probably, you know, like at the morning, and I go back and I ask my family, I'm like, you know, they didn't give me the satisfaction answer that I want. So I'm like, what is going on? You know, like you want to know sometimes why the truth. But then that's why when I say people say have hard life, you know, they say it like, oh, you know, I wish I have this, I have that. Like, man, you have no idea what it takes, like, you know, growing up for me, like how people make fun of, you know, like, because, you know, you look different, you know. And then I remember even my mom says, like, because I like in the ocean all the time outside in the freaking rice paddy, you know, I was so dark, like all... You see Indonesian people still today, they carry in the plus 40 with the humidity probably plus 80, like they wear jeans,
of course. So they don't tan, right?
Because they think why to get lighter color is like, it's more attractive.
Of course.
I'll tell you, Indonesian kid, it's wrong.
Exactly.
Be as dark as you want, man.
Yeah. And that's one of those things, you know, I mean, I think everyone... it's easy for a lot of people to ascribe everything to like colonialism, etc. But that's definitely one of the things, like not just like India, Indonesia, those places, but also, you know, to further east as well. You know, like
African people do that.
Well,
too.
like skin whitening creams and all that kind of stuff. Like that's a huge, massive, huge market because that idea that
what's that all about?
Exactly. I mean, and there are a couple of things to that. One of them, of course, is you know, like.
But I get it. I know what you mean. You know, but I never believed in that because my auntie is like, Budi, you're so dark. No girl would ever marry you. Right. That hurts my feeling when I was young. I'm just like, I'm so good looking. I know.
You got game. Come on.
I know I'm gonna get. I know because I'm like, you know, I always tell myself I'm the shit because I am. I think I've been through stuff that I know that like. I know exactly what it is. You know, I don't know. That's what I think. No, and then my mom on top of say, Budi, please, like, you know, you should stop, you know, like stop in the ocean. You should. I can barely see you. You know, your eye already like that. Gosh, it's just like, you know, just your teeth showing up at night. I'm just like, Mom, leave me alone.
Sure,
I said,
of course.
like, I don't care about girls. I just always thought because you're young anyway. You know, you're 10, 11, like 12. You know, I know they try to protect you, so maybe they have somebody for you already. Set up, you know how it is.
Of course,
you know?
Of course.
I'm just like, no, that's not me. They would never be me. I was like that. So because I think that's something to do with why I look different, right? So I learn about myself faster than you know.
Just
it doesn't mean that I forget about myself all the time. I do, you know, because you're human, you know. Like, but.
Gotcha, man. That's amazing. And the fascinating part of that is that, you know, there's a lot of like, what I'm getting from that is a lot of, you know, self-belief.
Yeah, I have to be positive. Like it took me so many years to be positive.
Just like a lot of self-confidence and a lot of drive within yourself, you know, to make things happen, to make your own way, and to, I don't know, man. I guess like live life on your own terms, you know, like which is so cool.
It's weird though when like you're, you know, that's why like I know they love me, my family, or whatever. It's different way of kind of showing love, right? Because you grew up poor and hard. Maybe it's different than like how I love my kid, you know, like you know, and living, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, just grew up with a little bit different, you know, than people and all the teasing on and stuff. And then, you know, I cry a lot when you're a kid, you know, because that's all you can. What do? You know, you can't fight everybody and stuff.
Course.
But soon
you can't take everybody.
I remember when I was like 13 and 14, I'm like, screw this. Anybody that say anything, you know, and then I would get knocked out so many times. But I make them know that don't do that. I will. I don't care if I lose. So I said I'll come back to you the next day. I'll do it again. So you don't sit, you know. But then that was my like tough year, you know, like 14 to like you just rebel.
Of course, that's a hard set of years for anybody, man. You know, your hormones are changing. Like everything is different.
And then as soon as like grade 12, like nobody would say anything to me. They would like they just leave me alone, and then I become kind of, I guess, like a little bit make fun of them or whatever, because now that nobody wants to do anything to me now, like because now they think like, oh, he's something else. Don't even bother with him. You know, that's like I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like just like yes. I said like now you know, because you from this really soft, sabi, like sensitive, like you're hiding in room, right? Music, But I always sporty at the same time. I was so good at soccer, Arjun.
Oh, cool.
Oh my gosh, like
I didn't know that. That's
like
awesome.
my village, my village, I get picked on, and all the kids in the club.
Yep.
You play against the whole Lombok team.
Yep.
It's pretty. I'm always good at sport. I don't know, because I don't. People always like you just because you're like this, you can't do that.
Right.
Never say you
right?
can. You might really good at it. Like just
I mean, it's one of those things you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
And if you have people telling you no or you can't do it before you even have a chance to do it, like that, it just sets up this like mindset, where you're not open to stuff. And nowadays everyone talks about growth mindset and stuff, but that's what that is, like just having, whether it's having belief in yourself or your family or your siblings or friends, supporting you, or, having something that you're trying to prove somebody wrong. Like, hey, you can't tell me I can't do this. I'll show you, but just putting yourself out there and trying out everything. I mean, that's you're not going to find out any other way.
Don't let anybody ever limit you. People are like, but that's my whole life though.
Sure.
Because I don't know, people always like they see you and they always just like some certain like thing in their head. I grew up with that, but maybe now because maybe I think about, maybe they didn't think about that, but but just but
hindsight is always funny,
but now
man.
I know like I should be psychiatrist, man. I would be pretty good at it because man, I don't know. It's nice to learn that I think you can buy people in 5 minutes if they're gonna be your friend or not.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can buy people quick. Just through you have like street experience. Living on your own since you're young. Like, you can
you pick up a lot of things.
Yeah, I pick up a lot of things.
Yeah. That's amazing. Tell you what, give me 1 sec. I'm going to get some more coffee.
Yes.
And then let's then get to moving to Grande Prairie. And we'll take it from there. Is that cool? Awesome. Give me 1 sec. And we're back. Got some fresh pots. Dude, let's talk about you getting to Canada.
Yes.
When did you get here? What brought you here? And did you come to Grande Prairie first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight from Lombok to Grande Prairie.
Wow, man. What time of year did you arrive?
I remember it was, when was the 9/11 in New York?
No way. September.
It was in 2000?
September 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember, okay, I came, it was in, I think it was beginning of October.
Wow.
When I came legally in 2000.
Okay.
But when I came in 98, I came in the summer.
Okay,
And then
got
I
it.
stay
Got it. Summertime's a good time to be here.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the winter
I came in
hits.
summer and then I remember first time I see snow.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
That was pretty amazing.
Sure, man.
Yeah, anyway, I met a lady, this young Canadian was holidaying in Indonesia.
Yep.
Yeah, she was teaching English in Japan at the time. And then I was working.
Yep.
And then we met and then we date for 2 years,
okay.
or a year and a half maybe. She came visit me 3 times to Gili. And then in 1998, that was when the Suharto coming down. We were going to live in Indonesia. We were going to start business.
Okay.
But that's when people burning mosque, burning church, everything was chaos. And then she was scared. She said, "Well, I don't want this thing going on. Let's go to Canada. I don't want to live like this. I think it's better in Canada. And
definitely,
what about if we're gonna have kids and stuff? She gave me ultimatum. You think school is better here? You think the pro and con. And I realized, you know what? You're right, let's go to Canada. And then, so we get married and I legally came 2000 to Grande Prairie.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the first, the first jobs that you had, just the first little while, just getting used to being here. How was that? What was that like, man?
Oh, wow. The culture shock was, was pretty, now, like, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love Grande Prairie. You know,
Yep.
this is home for me. This is my home. Whatchamacallit. But yeah, I came in and then my better than half, she has a family business.
Okay.
24-hour video.
Classic
Remember,
spot.
you remember,
I
yeah.
remember. I feel like everyone of a certain age in Grande Prairie remembers going to 24-hour video, right? You know, because there was, I think, Blockbuster a couple of blocks away.
It.
Exactly.
Rogers was right beside
Rogers,
it.
That's
remember?
what it was. Yeah, Rogers was there.
Blockbuster was at Safeway, I
that's
think.
Right.
Yeah.
That was. But yeah, if you were serious about movies, if you wanted like obscure stuff, you'd go to 24-hour video, you know, and rent a VHS. That was the move.
And people always complain, why you call it 24 hours video? You guys don't open 24 hours. They say. But the thing is, like, it was kind of like, I think our mistake, because we were open 24 hours video until it was really quiet from like, you know, from 4 o'clock to like 6 in the morning, and they just said, like, they just kept the name, but we close at 2 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, like, you know, when the business side of things doesn't work to do that, you just can't do that anymore. Like, I remember, I don't know if you spent, like me, when I was younger, playing in bands, a lot of time at like Denny's, you know, at like 2 or 3 a.m.
That's
you know, like
right.
you play a show and then you go to Denny's with a bunch of friends.
I remember going
you know what I mean?
there
Like, or
too,
being
like,
young, like, you know, whether you're in college or something. I remember going there with like bandmates and stuff and like talking about music and art, drinking coffee and eating fries at like 3 in the morning. Like,
exactly. Like shit after when you wake up.
At the time, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I mean, it didn't make sense for them to keep doing that, and so now they're not open 24/7.
No.
But
that's my first job.
Okay.
Very interesting. I thought my English was good, but then it's completely because my English was good for like German people,
well, sure.
or like the one that have an accent, you know, because we both trying to figure it out when I was in Indonesia, like guide them around. But when I work here, like. Yeah, there was culture shock. I remember this one guy threw his license to my face, his driver's license, because I think I said, you know, remember back in the day you have to pay late charge, right? If you're late with your movie, you pay late charge. And
I remember,
Oh yeah, he was renting an adult movie. Yeah, and his
happens.
His spouse didn't tell his spouse.
Oh.
So when I call and his spouse, his fiance answered, and she said, like, we never rent adult movie. I'm just like, well, I think it's your husband. I said, I have his signature. Is his name? It's like, I'll meet you there in 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Yeah, so this guy came first and just like, I don't have a church. Like, oh, why you call my house and blah, 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 you know, like, and then I kind of figured out what's going on, but I don't want to say anything, you know. So and he just like, that's not my signature, and he tried to, but that's your name and stuff like that. And he gets so mad, and he just wipe his license to my face. I was just so shocked, right? I'm just like, what can I do? And then this lady that worked with me was like, hey, you can't do that, you know.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And then his better half came in.
Okay.
And then look at and then they fight in front of me. And I hope they're not divorced after that. It looked like there is a trust issue there. But that's what's happened.
Sure.
So a lot of like that, like misunderstanding. Sometimes maybe because my English wasn't good enough. Sure. And then I realized, I said, this is not the job for me, because if I want to be able to speak like, like Grande Prairian or whatever, like I should find my own way.
Yeah.
Because I was working with family and then live with the family. So it's kind of like, I need to figure it out my way. So, because, like I want to provide, not like the other way around. So I told, I want to find my own job or whatever, because I want to learn like more English. I want to better ourselves,
Sure, of course.
I want to make more money or whatever. So I work in construction, I remember.
Right.
And then you meet, like construction people character, like I was shocked. I talk like them now, swearing every second words, but that's the best way to learn English.
Sure.
Because they would, mostly construction people, I don't know, like we like to party back in the day. I was young, so, they would like swear every second word, know all the slang, all the, know. I remember like ask my bellhop, you say, what's you betcha mean?
Right.
You know, because people say you betcha,
you
everybody.
Betcha. Yep.
You know, and I was like, what is that mean? Like,
yeah,
you know?
dude.
And then you bet you.
Yep.
Oh, and then and I asked friends, he said, oh, this is what I mean. It's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
And then after a construction job for a few years, and like then my English was like way improved, and then I have bunched so many different jobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember.
Job is a job.
That's
I don't
the
know.
thing,
I wish
right?
I could do art for the rest of my life. Never have to do other thing, you know, but you can't.
When did you get into the arts in Grande Prairie? Like when did that start becoming more of an active thing that you did?
Because my first 6 months here, because it was winter, and I couldn't breathe. Great new life in Canada, you know, in Canada, everything new, you know, but at the time it was cold.
Yeah.
I never seen any cold like that.
Absolutely. It's
from
different.
On the beach, you know, like plus 20 guarantee all year round, you know, like that's like the coldest day, you know, to like, you know, minus 40. Remember back during Christmas, like early
this
2000,
year?
even early 2000 was like minus 50.
Oh, of course.
Cold,
you always had that like 1 or 2 weeks it was either at the end of December or usually like the middle of January or something. There was like 1 or 2 weeks where it was just so cold. And this year, remember, we had like record low temperatures. You know, it was like colder than the surface of Mars. You know, that kind of stuff. That's a tough time, dude.
Yeah, so anyway, so I was 6 months. I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I'm like, I don't think this is the right place for me. And then she said, well, yeah, maybe you are needing a new job, you know, because like, you know, my better half says like, you don't, like you hang out with us, you don't have no friend, find a friend.
Right.
So I find a job. But at the time, because I was so miserable, I still work at 24 Audio. That's when the Beach Boys come out from my brain, that song.
Got it. Okay.
And I realized like, wow, I can write song in English. I'm thinking, even probably it's not perfect English, but listen to the rapper, their lyric is like, that's not the English, you know, that's their own language.
Exactly.
So I try to the best of my ability to write English. My first English song was Born. Beach Boys. And then I show it to like her family, and they think it's good, you know, because it's cool. It's like it's happy, and it's like it's like biographic kind of.
Right. I mean, it's nice to have that support from them too. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and then I wrote after Rastaprairian.
Dude, okay.
I still don't know if Rastaprairian is my first song because I was so miserable and I was like outsider looking in about Grande Prairie. I think that's why make me write that song, because I was in a bad shape, like I was in a bad mental, because you know, culture shock. It's for real. It's not fun, you know. Like
of course,
I wouldn't wishing that for anybody, but I think the trick, if you in a new place, just find friend, like you know.
You got to set up your own
new
circle.
language, you know, new language,
your own
different
tribe,
language.
whatever you call it. Yeah.
The best way is like find somebody, just you know,
set up your own circle of friends.
Outside your norm, you know, like your family, that whoever you with in that new place. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tell me again, Rastaprairian. Tell me about the word. I know where it comes from, but like, you know, how did the idea of that persona come up?
Okay, Rastaprairian, I always likes Mariana. To me, I think, you know, even from Indonesia, like, you know, Indonesia is like Muslim country. It's a hardcore with Mariana. One joint could get you 7 years in jail. Right. You know, but I don't know, I was on the beach. I was in the tourism area. That's the most economic that the country get it from is tourism. I think other than agriculture, the second one was tourism.
Right.
So the CAP will never go to tourist area to screw things up. That's already make us so much money. So marijuana was available in the tourism area, and then nobody talks to CAP no matter anyway. Most third world country, just like probably in the States, the same thing. Like the relation between the CAPs and the you know, the people is not very good because of the power struggle, right? So, but I was happy, you know, smoke marijuana and I love it. And then when I came to Grande Prairie, when I think about it, and I didn't know that people smoke weed here.
Oh, okay.
At the time,
I
right?
got you. Yeah.
And then I was just like, in a bad space, missing my old lifestyle. And then, I'm in this like God-forsaken, at the time, Grande Prairie was like, there's nothing behind Walmart. Was nothing.
Yeah. It's
Tony Roma's there doesn't exist. It's all just field.
Absolutely.
Remember?
I mean, there's so much more development that has happened.
Past 20 years?
Yeah,
oh my
it's
goodness.
Insane. Yes. I mean, when we moved back to town, even in 2017, I'd kind of drive around, and you drive a road, you've driven the same road for 20 years or something, and then suddenly you look down what used to be a dead-end street and there's like a new subdivision. You're like, where did that come from,
Yes,
New industrial parks, all this kind of stuff. It's been just a massive amount of building that's been going on, a massive amount of expansion. I'm trying to think back, man. I remember, you'd know people, you'd go to people's places for barbecues or something, and like their backyard just looked out onto farmland, Now there's like a strip mall, another subdivision over there.
So many subdivisions toward Claremont, even now it's almost connected.
Oh my gosh,
now,
exactly. You can just drive down that back road and it's the same thing.
So many giant subdivisions there, some nice big houses up there. It's pretty man.
But back at that time, as you were saying, there's nothing.
Anyway, internet, nothing, or just like phone, that's it.
Very different time. No smartphones, right? I mean, the flip phone maybe, or you just didn't have a phone.
That's right.
It was...
That's why I said, I would say to younger people, it's okay, I think, to accept when you're miserable or whatever, as long as you can be able to channel it. That's why. Right. Please, people have hobby. I don't know what people do if they don't people that don't have hobby. I feel sorry for them. Good thing I have art behind me.
Yeah.
I was in a bad shape, and a beautiful thing come out of it. Rastaprairian, Beach Boys, In Bali. Yeah. I think you can tell because I'm missing home. If you think about it now from all my old stuff, it's all about but it's a way of coping, that I'm living, I'm accepting myself living here now. I'm I'm a survival. I will survive in this place. There's no way around it.
And you're making constructive use of those feelings.
That's right.
I mean, a lot of people let that stuff eat them up. And and that can be a terrible thing, and so
it is,
just like you're saying, man, if people have hobbies, if people write songs, if people
even
play
if you
D&D,
suck at it, even if you're not good at it, trust me, it's okay.
Just do
whatever, nobody's good at anything at first, but it's all about keep doing it because you like it. You find something in art or music or craft, whatever you do, just to just be creative, instead of just I don't know. Doing nothing and staring at the screen or something.
Did you always actually? I think you mentioned this before because you played covers back home.
Yes.
Was it pretty quick for you to sort of going from writing tunes to finding places to perform in town, or did you play for yourself and then was it tough to find places to play?
I remember when I have 3 songs, and then I look at there's open mic. I remember there's open mic and there is I remember me now they become my good friend. I don't know them at the time. Julie, Emily, and Vince. They were playing a show in the empty lot right there. I remember back. Was it 2000 or 2001, 2002? Somewhere in those. There's a big band in the empty lot, music going on. Everybody was watching. And this cafe where the Northern Light used to be.
So funny thing about this.
I think you were there probably too.
Not at that time. Exactly. So the funny thing about this is that a lot of my first impressions of the art scene moving to town revolved around people talking about the Compass or the C-Spot. That was that cafe there, right?
That was the C-Spot. I think that was what it's called.
And so when I was getting into the music scene, I think it had closed down by then,
Okay.
And so I just heard about it. So everyone I would talk to, that was the scene they were coming out of, jamming at the C-Spot, the Compass, or whatever.
Small place there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm whoa, that's pretty cool.
And again, Emily and Julie, and we've talked about them before. Emily Booth, Julie Booth, siblings of Bevan Booth, who was here, a little while ago. Incredible musicians in their own right, and then also Vince Marple, who was the first bassist in No One's Alone. It's funny how these things all tie together.
It's amazing.
Okay, so you saw them playing,
I saw them, and then I realized man, there is an art in this town. I'm
there's
like,
a scene.
I'm getting in that crowd. No matter what it is, I'm going to get in there. Yep. So my Love in Bali, I think, was my third song. And then I just start playing open mic. And then I met so many new friends, you know. And then, And then Julie, I think, and Emily see me playing. No, but before that was Ken and Matt and Sean Thompson.
Okay.
Right, I was playing at Howlers open mic.
Howlers,
yeah,
we're back. Okay,
yeah. Howlers open mic, and they play ska music. I'm just like, this is the music that you know, like I'm playing kind of like this, and I always like ska, right? I didn't know what it's called ska, but anyway, the reason I grew up, I really like reggae because of my older brother too, because he got all the cassette from tourists.
Okay,
and then he brought it home, and then I listened to I remember first time listened to this band called Color Me Bad.
Yeah, Color Me Bad. Of course, man. Of course.
I remember. I was just like, this is so cool. I'm thinking, and they're pure toss, equal rights.
Oh my gosh.
He brought it home. I'm just like, what is it?
Yeah.
So I was like big pure toss before Bob Marley.
Heck yeah, man.
Bob Marley come the legend. I remember the first Bob Marley I get was the legend thingy, like all the classic song. But pure toss, equal rights.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, I remember that song. I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, I throw away all my traditional knowledge, all my gamelan that I can play, all those thingy, and the angklung, the bamboo. I throw everything away and I stole my brother's guitar and I want to be like pure toss.
Oh, man.
Yeah, pure toss and Color Me Bad.
Yeah.
What else? It was like Madonna. But now going back to remember I keep asking my family because I live here now. I ask them like about all my old stuff just in case if I have the same memory. When I was 5 years old, my brother said it was Stevie Wonder on a black and white TV. That my father finally get one because he has this truck. He has his own truck. At the time, life was good, you know, But he brought this black and white TV, and then there's this plastic like this long probably. I seen him because he wore sunglasses, right? This is all come back to me now. I think it was. What's that song? It's a reggae song by him was playing at the Master Blaster.
Oh
Master
my gosh.
Blaster. I think that was the video, and I guess I was just naked, and I grabbed that plastic and I put it around my eye like that, and I remember that's the first childhood memory ever that I don't know. I danced in front of the TV, and I thought it was him, and I didn't know it was Stevie Wonder. And my brother asked me, that was Stevie Wonder. I think you always like ever since that, you know, you think you're a show off when it comes to art. Now I know I always want to be better than my older brother because he always he was so good. He doesn't even try to play guitar, and he can play lead. He can play blues lead like R&B, you know, like funk. He can plays lead like nothing. But then he pursue only so much, so little. You know, he doesn't if I know what he knows, I would be I would be on top of the world because I would be so good. But I have to struggle in everything, you know, struggle so much. I have to steal his guitar because he won't let me. But then, you know, somehow, you know, I'm glad that I do that, or he saw me that, you know, all the music and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's my first performing. I remember 5 years old, in front of Stevie Wonder song, dancing.
That's amazing.
That's all I remember.
And then you found, again, ska and reggae here in town.
That's right.
Howlers, open mics, Ken, Sean and those guys. Now, how does that...
I came to their show at the... Not called Sark, was called Hammerhead back in... You know,
they played at Hammerheads?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're opening for some band, but I know they're the ska band that I like from the Howlers. I'm I'm seeing this guy.
Dude, I didn't realize that they were that band.
Yeah.
Or, you know, that was... that was sort of their identity at the time.
Yeah.
Like I got into them after that, like with like their more sort of grunge kind of stuff. And then I didn't know about that connection because you guys had Boom Blasta for a while,
that's right?
Now it all makes sense. Okay.
So I see them play, and as soon as they're done, I just come to them straightforward, and I said, "You guys are cool. I like what you're doing. I want to be in the band with you."
Nice.
And they said, "Okay, we like your stuff too. We saw you at the Hollers."
Cool.
Okay, that's what Ken says.
Yeah.
And then we just become tight, and then we form Boom Blasta.
Oh man,
we play here at Better Than Friends.
That's so cool. Wow. So then, what happened after the tsunami relief show? Because I feel like we then, we got to know each other a little bit. 2004, 2005, No One's Alone was doing our
you
thing,
guys, like I always see you guys. So you guys were the biggest thing in town, man. Like,
you're too kind, man. Thank you.
Man. I remember like the song with the motorbike in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
That one song, because I have your CD, the No One's Alone CD. I think I have it somewhere. But I remember that vroom vroom, and like after seeing you play all the time here, and I just like, man, like it was just you guys are the biggest band. And then another one with the hardcore metal with Bevan and all that.
Calculating Collapse.
You're not the biggest band.
You're too kind. I appreciate it, man.
You promote the shit out of it. Like, no, I don't think nobody else would like you. Like, totally put yourself out there. You're just everywhere.
For sure. I mean, for me, part of that came from making the choice to drop out of school, right? Coming to Grande Prairie again, making the choice to drop out of school, and be like, I'm serious this time. I'm dropping out. I'm going to do music. So like, once you make that announcement, once that's the thing you're doing, man, it's like, then after a while, the realization set in that, okay, well, I need to deliver. Like I've chosen not to do this, to kind of do my own thing, to go out on my own, to do, and that thing is music, like the polar opposite of everything that I was doing before. And so I knew that I had to deliver, and it's not like I felt pressure from any space specifically, but just more for myself. It's like, look, like I dropped out of school twice to do this thing, and now I'm serious about doing this thing. So if I'm going to do a thing, it has to be really good. And part of that was, again, seeing all the bands in town. I missed the Compass and C-Spot era, but, I would be at like the Howlers open mics and stuff like that.
When on the Sloan, where you guys play where did you like? I see you like so at frets. Like where?
We played at BJ's a ton.
Did you play at the Corral?
Yeah, we played at the Corral. Well, and so I'm sure we've covered this before.
Name now. Yeah, so many names.
Well, now it's not a bar anymore. It was Spurs. Rock City for a while. So a real quick point of context, I guess. So Howlers, for anyone who doesn't know, just to to go over this again. Howlers is the lounge at Grande Prairie Regional College.
That's right.
And when I was at school there, and when we were playing there, they had like a very sort of dense and bustling music scene. They'd have open mics all the time, weekly things, and people from all over town and the area would come to play. You would have acoustic acts, full bands, just people just doing something.
Am I crazy, or is that we have more band back in the day than now, or now because I'm not in the scene, or like?
Well, I wonder that too. That's the impression that I get.
Going on?
But because I've been away for a while, I could just now be at the point where like I just don't know anything. But some people have told me that that's the case. Like that there aren't perhaps as many bands who are pushing it in the way that we all used to back in the day. Like, maybe
I think it's more like individual now. A lot of like solos.
A lot of singer-songwriters.
There's not many bands.
Smaller amount of bands. So that's Howlers. We are at Better Than Fred's, which used to be called Sharks.
Yes.
Back then, when we first started playing here,
it was smoke inside.
All the places were smoking, which for me as a non-smoker was crazy because I would wake up the next morning from any gigs that I played and just like hack alone for a while.
You got it the worst probably more than the smoke.
It was crazy, man. But you know what? Like that was the thing. I was young. I was
such a fun
19 at the time, getting into gigging. Like I was always kind of like the youngest person in.
Were you the youngest in that band?
Totally.
I didn't know that.
Wow. I was always just that kid who like.
And you the most mature,
maybe in some ways, but not in others.
But but no one's slow. I remember.
Thank you, man.
I see you everywhere. I just like, That's why I want to be in the band. And when I got taste to be in the band, like it's hard playing by yourself. Like, I mean, you know, you can do really good, like, but you can still feel just by yourself. You
Absolutely.
know? It's nice to art. It's about sharing, especially like more head put together. It's always going to be better than one person.
Dude, that's the thing, man.
Like, I believe in that.
For sure. My blurb on my YouTube or wherever I post this podcast, you know, part of my blurb is just talking about that, you know, like collaboration and especially interconnectedness between artists is like such an important thing. You know, everyone kind of has their own artistic identity, but I think like it keeps everyone sharp and thinking if there are a lot of artists and everyone kind of knows each other, you know, everyone interacts somehow, maybe everyone plays in each other's bands, you know? It's just, it's only ever going to be a good thing, you know, just that collaboration, man, keeping, you know, and even if they're like rivalries and stuff, a lot of times those are constructive, you know? Everyone's still cool,
it's okay to be,
you know, and then you'll go away later and be like, oh, I hate that person, or, you know, or like, they're so good, I want to be better than them, you know?
It's a good thing, you know?
It is. It's the, you know, whatever analogies you want to use, a rising tide raises all boats, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, we all go through like sensitive or whatever when it comes to art. But as you grew older, you know, like it's freaking dumb.
Sure.
All the ego, whatever is true. But when you're young, you know, you don't realize that. You know, you think you're king of the world.
Of course,
right? That's how,
you think you're doing the newest thing. That no one's better than you. Of course, man. Of course.
And now you realize, like, whoa. If I could do that now, what I like, you know. Man,
always, man. No matter how much you think you can prepare yourself, you know, it's like everyone's going to do the same kind of stuff.
But it's good that now, you're all learning, you know, you grew up and you're learning, like, man, I wish more head, more brain putting into the song, you know, because it's always going to be better.
Yeah, of course, man. And it's, I remember one of the first times that we hung out, maybe we were just chatting, you know, but it was one of these things where it was either at Howlers or, you know, like after everyone played, like late at night, everyone is just chatting to each other. But you showed me some recordings you had, right?
That's right.
Because you recorded something in Edmonton and then something with James Oldenburg here in town.
Yes.
Could you talk about those two recording sessions a little bit? Like how they came up, like how did you get into doing that?
Because I like the 3 songs that I have, I think, and I just don't know anybody at the time. I'm still really new, so by recording just the 3 songs, I found cheap studio in Edmonton. I just went there, recorded, like, it doesn't even take long, really quick, like few hours or something, and they just master and they send it to me. So now I can like have a proof when I have playing gig or something to give people, you know, like, and then from there, and then with Oldenburg through Adrian and Staffen Kajak.
Armitage, Staffen Kajak. Again,
Adrian, I miss you, bro.
Dude, incredible. Again, 2 very interesting and unique artists. What they did was very different, you know, and I appreciated the heck out of it.
Staffen Kajak, man, with piano, that guy is brilliant.
It's a wonderful talent, man. What a guy. Oh my gosh.
And then, that's how I met Oldenburg through Adrian, and we record 2 songs, I think.
2 songs, I think. Yeah.
And then, I was living with Adrian at the time. And then, we were just a good buddy. We lived together.
Were you guys staying over above Breakers down here? Oh, okay. I remember that spot. Okay, got it.
Oh, that's pretty quiet place too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody, as soon as they come out from the bar, they want to try to go up there to our place.
Well, because people stumble out of a bar and they see a door and they just want to go through the door. You know, it's like,
really high. It's like, I wonder if I could go up there.
It's my home. That's so funny, man.
But at the time you were young, it was so much fun.
Of course.
But anyway.
And that's the thing, you know, like I remember a lot of our shared kind of jamming memories for me anyway are at these kinds of apartments above a store, you know.
Booth family. We
were just talking about that. Like so there was like the Rabbit Hole crowd, you know, like Tim and those guys, you know, they'd always host jams. Harrison. Harrison. That's
Patrick.
Right. Yeah. Patrick. That's right.
Yeah. And Sam.
Dude.
Sam.
Yes.
Sam.
What a great guy, man.
Yes.
Just again, wonderfully interesting people, all about the arts. Always hosting jam sessions and like just shows. Yeah, man. And I remember at a certain point, I think after No One's Alone started to fizzle out, I was also single at the time after not being single for a while. Yeah. And like, I was just, again, back to sort of like reconnecting with like all these art people, it's like, hey, where's everybody, And so I gotten back in touch with you.
Yeah, I think that's how we talk, I think, after
that
No
was
One's Alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was like when we really started to connect artistically. And it was just a lot of, jamming downstairs at the Rabbit Hole.
That's right.
Jamming upstairs at Julie's apartment above Al's News.
Above Al's News.
Which was amazing because, I mean,
the best place to jam right there, Al's News.
Yeah, it was just one of those scenarios where, like, I don't know how many people, a dozen people would show up.
We always cook some food, just like party.
Exactly.
Like, so many pictures.
Everyone would have guitars, instruments. Yeah. People would be songwriting all the time. It was one of those scenes where, like, again, I can't say enough about Emily, Julie, and Kaylee, and just what wonderful, open, artistic people they are. Just their nature.
She's doing so.
Kaylee's just killed the game, man. She's so good.
Just because I don't talk to you, Kaylee, I love you. You're the best.
She is.
She's doing so good. She's playing all this big festival, like
co-writing with everybody. I mean,
I'm like,
man.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Like, she's blowing up.
Absolutely.
Man. Like,
and and again, one of my fondest memories, a bunch of them are jamming, right? Yeah. Upstairs, downstairs. Yeah. And no matter what anybody was playing, whoever was singing lead, whoever song it was, Kaylee, Emily, and Julie would always like jump in with, with their glorious harmonies, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The Booth family, man.
Yeah, just incredible folks. But I mean, and some of those, like, the Peace Starts at Home single. Like, remember that was like summer 2006?
Yeah.
I remember working on that upstairs at Julie's. You had the song, and then you're like, hey, maybe we should record this. And, you were playing the song, and it's the kind of song that you can play over and over again. You repeat the chorus and the verse, and everyone was just jumping in and out, like hopping in with a bunch of instruments.
Yeah. Just like come out just like that. Like when I wrote it, and then I remember we recorded with you and Justin.
Yep.
So good.
That was a wonderful time, and one of the best things about that whole scene for me was.
Do you still have the recording for that song?
I have the final recording somewhere. Yep, I have it on my computer. I like on a couple of old hard drives. Yeah. I think Justin has probably the session on his computer as well. Yeah. One thing that I loved about that whole scene was that everybody was very open with their art. Coming from being in like a band thing.
We were just united. We were just like one, do this together, and we all collaborated. We all like, that was great.
A beautiful thing, man. Yeah. And so out of that, we recorded the Peace Starts at Home single. That was for the second year, I think, of Peace Starts at Home. Yeah. Because they had a thing where, on the radio, you could, various artists could write a song with that message incorporated into it somehow, and they would play it on the radio. Yeah. And so I think real quick, again, as a point of context, so Peace Starts at Home was a festival that existed like 2005, 6, 7 maybe.
That's right.
In Grande Prairie, that was set up by, again, one of the fundamental sort of characters in the art scene back in the day, Chris Thiessen.
That's true.
So now Chris is a counselor, working for the city, doing the good work.
Speaking about that, the first people I met in Grande Prairie that now probably everybody knows in Grande Prairie, it's Bill Given.
You were saying, that's right. Yeah,
because he's a good friend with my kid uncle.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Uncle Dean.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so the first people I met when I work at 24-hour Video was Bill Given, and he's always like, we're always talking about stuff, It's always like, he has like broad idea, opinion about Grande Prairie. And then I remember, when I heard that he wants to be a mayor, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You have like a homegrown person.
Become a mayor, and he's our mayor for what, third time now?
Third term, fourth term, something like that.
Like, that's amazing.
Like ages, yeah. And like I was saying, it's, when you have one sort of a homegrown person, getting into something, politics in their hometown, that's can only be a good thing, because they know what's up.
Wow, I remember when he was young. I even like, are you gonna win? Like, you're so young. Are you gonna pick you? I'm just like, I think he says like, I think so. Yeah. And then he won.
Absolutely, like heck yeah.
How old is he when he became mayor? He's not even 30 when he's become mayor. I think he was like late 20s.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow, man. I had no idea.
Think about it. This is his term, so that's like 15 years, right?
Okay.
Every 5 years, one term. I don't know how many.
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
3 or 4 or 5, yeah.
But yeah, like man, yeah, he's always so nice to me, and like man, I can believe like that's Bill Given.
Dude,
like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Bill, and then Chris. Right. So Peace Starts at Home.
Yes.
So Chris had this vision of, at that time, there were so many bands, so many musical acts who were doing a lot. And Chris always had this idea of togetherness, bringing people together, helping each other, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And so he had an idea to put on a festival where basically for the entire summer, spring and summer, there would be some kind of like a Battle of the Bands style shows where bands played all summer, and somehow like a final few bands were chosen to play a large festival out at Muskogee Park. And again, which was amazing. It was jam-packed. I mean, it was just a glorious time in the scene. I feel like for me, it hit everything hit critical mass those 2-3 years.
Yes.
There were so many bands that were so good.
We
Everyone
need
was playing
Chris
all the
Thiessen
time
in this town.
Oh, we
need some.
Right.
No,
Well,
seriously,
I hear what you're saying.
we need somebody to bring it back, something like that.
Right.
Because then all these young kids wants to be in the band, and they can be in the battle of the band.
That's a good point to bring up. Like I feel like all of us who were participating in music at the time, bands, solo acts, whatever the deal was, we all had our own identities. We all played our own, in our own kind of niche here and there.
I know.
And then Chris and his vision kind of brought everyone together. And that was like, the busiest and most sort of creative, perhaps, time in the arts that I remember at that time. Like those 2, 3, 4 years, when the idea came up. And I remember, again, I think this came up in Brandon's conversation, but, we sat in this room with like every single musician in Grande Prairie, like everyone who was in a band, and Chris told us his idea of the festival in 2004 or 5. And then, he made it happen. And it was an incredible thing because just as you said,
there was full
in terms of the kids,
like
there were all of us who'd been doing music, some people who were there before my time, plus like a lot of younger bands who had been part of the all ages scene, who could come out to shows maybe at Fred's, who were perhaps young, or at Sharks at the time, who were young, like bands like Overture, stuff like,
I know.
Again, just this incredible crop of young bands and young
still
musicians.
Know those guys still today.
Oh, no way.
Like Jeremy, because they friend with my friends and they all met like like North Country Fair. I always see him he's still doing music.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, I remember I love those Overture.
They're
the young kids, they were so good.
And I mean, they're playing, so Overture was I don't know how else to describe it, but like a band that sounded like Metallica and Megadeth and that style of metal, metal and hard rock at the time. And they would just write, these like 6-7 minute.
They were young.
Epics.
They were so
hip. Absolutely. And they were all like 16 at the time, right? And I remember, again, a lot of these kinds of bands were drawn into playing Peace Starts at Home. We would have all these sort of elimination kind of round shows, and so really like for the entire spring and summer, all of us would be playing regularly, and we would be writing and recording and, coming out to support each other, all that kind of stuff. Even though there were, like a select few who played the final show and then somebody was crowned the, like the winner of the whole thing, I've never seen like so much togetherness in a scene, in an art scene, in a long time,
I know. I never man. I'm glad I was part of that. Like,
man, it was a special time.
I think we still just need somebody really smart and do this again for this community because we need it right now in Grande Prairie. Like we really need to make this music or certain kind of art. Like we need like a new splash. We need to splash it again because I mean we have that good time, but we also have we grown. We have children and
absolutely.
But we're still thinking about that time. So I think to be honest, in it perfect time to be able to do that kind of scene again. Somebody need to start that up.
Definitely. And
I'll volunteer my time. Like anybody would like really help. Like it would be good thing.
It would be, man. It would be a heck of a thing.
Did Noan Sloan ever battle of the band too? Did you guys join Battle of the Band?
Here?
Noan Sloan? Yeah, back in the day.
So I think 2005 was the final year that we were a band. And so we made it through the finals. And I think like obviously Rocksmith,
That's
right?
Okay,
Rocksmith
now I get it.
They're like,
Rocksmith wins,
so
right?
good.
I thought
so
you guys
Rocksmith won,
like
we came
that,
second, and then Prevail was third.
Prevail, yeah.
Yep. And then the following year, No One's Alone had broken up, and I can't remember how that went down, but the following year, I think like Boy Charlie, Al and those guys, they won.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure what happened after that, because at that time we'd gotten sort of full into the Calculating Collapse thing, and we started like traveling out of town a lot to play shows, recording and that kind of thing.
I think it was funding issue, because it's hard, art, like, I don't know, people always cut, like it's hard to get funded, and
Yeah, it's the classic story, right?
That's
like,
all it is. Like, if we have money, that thing will keep going, like, but unfortunately that's what happened,
Yeah, it's always the thing, man. In hard times, that's what people cut, like
because
they
that's
cut
what
funding to the
Christensen
arts
did,
and,
right? Like, he asked all the company or businesses to help him out to be able to start at home.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, I can't speak to exactly how Chris made it all happen, but that was a big part of it. Like Chris was fundamentally the guy, writing grants, seeking funding. Definitely reaching out to businesses. Putting all the money together and the logistics together to make it happen. And I mean, I can't imagine. Well, I can. I know the kind of time it takes to put into pulling off a project that big. And again, I'm super thankful, because that was, like I said, for me the point where the scene hit critical mass. Everyone was doing their best work for those few years. All of the people, at least, who I would consider my peers in music at the time. So 2006 rolls around, we put out the Peace Starts at Home single. And then I feel like we did a little bit of, we kind of played together now and again. Like, you had a thing going with a few other guys, and once in a while I would play guitar with you.
Yeah, that's right, with Emily and Julie.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And,
there was that summer where Stacey Brown, Emily, Julie, Paul, they put on that show at the Live Theater, which was, again, a beautiful time. Because
Second Street Theater there was a good show.
Because it was a whole summer of us playing music and then presenting said music at the Live Theater. Beautiful show. And then... and then as the Calculating Collapse time kind of took over, I feel like a lot of my energies were invested in that, because then we were like getting signed, and then we were making a record, and then we were, touring across Canada and stuff like that. And so, the scene gigging kind of fell by the wayside a little bit, because, for us to level up, that was what we were doing. But I feel like you and I tried to do some recording right before I went to Boston, I think.
That's right.
Like, we recorded a few songs. And then when I got to Boston, like I just suddenly realized, like, I'm not going to have time to do anything.
That's right.
I think I sent some of the tracks back to you that we had done.
That's right.
And then you recorded with Paul, correct?
Yeah, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, I recorded at the college with Paul, with the help of Kaylee, Bevan, Julie, Emily. And we record
that was at the On the Way to Whiteport.
LP.
Is that what that was?
No, that was the Budiman and Friend.
Okay. Got it.
We record that. And then we record On the Way to our court in Halifax. We went to Halifax.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Right.
I recorded with Stacey Brown in his house.
Tell me about that process, man. Going to Halifax. Yeah.
I have
How
all
did that
this,
idea come up?
I have all this selected like I don't know, 16 or 18 song. I'm just like, okay, I have enough material. I'm just like, how can I record? I don't want to spend my own money, because I don't have any money, like we're poor. Live check, paycheck to pay. So I told Julie, I presented the idea to Julie and Emily, and they said, why don't we apply for grant? I'm like, okay, who can, I don't know how to do grant. Oh, Stephanie knows how to do grant.
Stephanie, absolutely.
So, thank you, Stephanie. You're the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So she applied a grant for me, and then we got it from city of Grande Prairie. Yeah, I'm so appreciative for the city.
That's great.
Like, they acknowledge, they give me a grant to making the album. So we'll be able to flew to Halifax, recorded there for a week, done in a week, and we'll come back. And then that was that. Yeah. And get mixed it there.
Amazing.
And,
yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah, I was so happy, and we got On the Way to White Court, the result out of that.
Got it.
And
Interesting. Now, what happens? Real quick before I forget, are those online at all? Are those records online? Are they on YouTube or any of those things?
What's the other one?
Bandcamp.
It's
okay,
on the
cool.
Bandcamp.
Okay. So I'll put a link in this video description to all that stuff.
Yeah, just the one-way barcode in the Bandcamp.
Okay.
And Budiman and friend, I think, was on MySpace back in the day.
MySpace.
MySpace.
What a thing, man. Do you remember when we would try to make our MySpace pages happen, update it regularly, put blog posts, pictures, it was just, that was the way to do things. You had to have a MySpace page. It was a simpler time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then,
wow, man. Okay, so then
on the way to Whitecourt, and then I moved to Edmonton.
Right. What year was that? Did you move to Edmonton around the time that I moved to Boston? 2010, 11, something like that?
Yeah, basically as soon as on the way to Whitecourt done, and I was here for a year, and I moved to Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was there, I think, 3-4 years, and I moved back.
Okay, got it. What were you up to in Edmonton in terms of just life and art and stuff? Were you playing a bunch?
I play all over Whiteout.
Okay,
every bar you can think of there, and then on the bottom of Starlight, it's called the Bricks.
Yep, those Bricks.
Bunch of places downtown. I just play show basically. I just want to see what happened. If I keep playing show and just live there and work and do all that, and it was fun time. Be able to meet Bill Bourne.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Bill Bourne and a bunch of artists in Edmonton. I remember jamming at this guy named George Ireland, Julie's friend. And then there is a bunch of people from Argentina.
Oh, okay.
And I came there, and they all just this jazz going on, fusion like a Cuban with Argent, all those kind of jazz, all those that style. And I come in, I'm just like, I don't have any instrument, and I have I chug my beer and empty, and I grab lighter and I play shaker with this thing, and then it fit in perfect, and we jump for like 2 hours straight.
That's beautiful.
And they all finally look up. We're like, who plays this thing? And they all look up to me. They all nod their head, and we just. And it was. I think there was. That's why I love jazz so much. People, it's hard to understand. People, why they don't, they get mad because they don't understand jazz.
Right.
But if you understand the free flow. You start with this, and then you just don't know where you're going.
Exactly.
But you catching on. The music is in and out, like instrument, just like they're like fighting. That's what jazz. That's how I think of jazz. It's the most that's the most thrilling, like straight out jam. I was just jumping to somebody's jamming, and then they all acknowledge, and it's like, you can come in and jam with us. It was perfect.
Oh man!
And even it was full too. There's so many people that don't jam. They all just like exciting because this music, these people. And I was I just come into party, and I just so taken by this jam, and I just come, and I just it was just so spontaneous, but.
Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about what we do. Like a lot of people see the completed, polished kind of version of whatever it is that we're going to put out. But like there's such a beauty in the live show, whether it's performing on stage or as a musician, whether you're jamming. When you find those, jams like that come along once in a while, and they're just the greatest thing, like the most artistically fulfilling thing to happen, It could be like, maybe you just played a show for thousands of people, but then that jam afterwards was like the best part of the whole thing.
Not try to put it down
crazy,
sex, not try to put down sex, but I think when you got the right music and it's like a fresh, you just spontaneous, it's the highest level that you got from art is like, it's higher than sex. Because it's, I don't know how to say it. That feeling you get, when you play music or when you do art, and it's on. It's on. It was on, at that time, specific time, and you just like, you're not there, you're somewhere else.
That's just it. Exactly. And you're having this shared experience with a bunch of people. Maybe you don't even know them. Maybe nobody speaks the same language, but everyone is playing music together. And I mean, that's like, I don't know how else to describe it either. It's just a different thing, man. When you're in the pocket, everyone's in the zone, you know?
Like, he was just
it's amazing.
You know, like, I want to live there, you know, in that moment the whole time, but you can. But that's what you cherish because it's just, you know, you remember like the highest, you guys just like that feeling you always remember like what happened at the time when, you know, when that thing happened, when you're in the pocket, like you said, like, it's incredible.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, you know, like, just great.
That's cool, man. When did you move back to town, and what precipitated the move? You know, from Edmonton to here.
Well, because I have a kid, right? And then when I was living in Edmonton, I still come here every month to see, you know, to put my time to hang out with the kid. And then I was just like, too much traveling, too much money spent. I just, you know, I work just enough, you know, to live, you know, barely anymore, but I make it squeeze, you know. And then, but it was just too much. And I said, like, you know what, I came here every month anyway, you know. It was great living in a big city. I don't think I'm a big city person.
Got it.
I don't know, like, too many people, because I'm from the small island, you know, like I like a big space and like the ocean and all that. So that's why I like Grande Prairie, you know. You go walk like 2 minutes, you know, you're in the middle of like even in Muscat City Park.
Exactly.
You know, you don't feel like you're in that's what I like.
The wide open spaces, man. There's something wonderful about that. It's a special thing. So what year did you move back here?
So I've been basically, since I moved, I work at Ramona Pizza.
So I've been working 7 years.
7 years. So
I see.
2012,
Got it.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, man. And
then I try to lay low for like music when I work with Ramona because I don't know, people don't know that I like visual art, right? I like, you know, I always was a complete artist. I think I just didn't know that my whole life. I always draw and painting, you know, like, but I just never sell it when it comes to painting and stuff. I just give it away to people that I like, you know, all my friends, whatever, give them my art because I think I've seen it enough and I don't think it's good enough for me, but for them, maybe it's good for their living room, match their ornament or whatever, right?
Well,
but
that's the thing about
it's
art.
good
I mean,
for them, and then, you know, and then they don't give me form of money, but they give me like a art supply, you know, and just like, hey, here you can draw more. You know, I always, that's my life when it comes to visual art. People give me in a form of like, not money, but to encourage me to do more art by give me
beautiful thing,
blank cloth. That's why, you know, they know that I'm going to do something with it, you know, so.
Well, and that was an interesting thing about us reconnecting when I got back in 2017 is I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that, you know, you had this deep visual art side to you. I guess this question applies to music as well. What inspires you to do what you do? Like, when, you know, when you feel like drawing or painting, you know, what are the feelings that lead up to it? You know, is it something that you're compelled to do and it's hard to pinpoint why you're doing it? Or are you, you know, is there a straight line between like you feel a certain way and then you're inspired to paint or something like that?
Yeah, painting, it's weird because I use pen, I use like Gorilla Glue. I just like, when I see something like a space, like white space, or piece of paper or cardboard, and I see like blue pen and I see Gorilla Glue, I look at all of them, and I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
They're gonna go together in some way.
And you know, I don't know what it's gonna be. I just like, okay, I'm gonna put that in there, and I'm just gonna, you know, and I know it's gonna be like some form of like drawing or painting. And then I have to finish it too. Like, that's when it comes to painting, I can't like just. When painting, you know, like, I don't care if it's take 20 hours straight, I would finish it until it's like, I know that I can go to sleep now and it's done. That when with music, I'm really kind of slow with music because there's so many good artists, you know, like my whole life I'm influenced, you know, from traditional gamelan to all like, you know, the puppet music, it's called wayang in Indonesia, you know, this white screen and then him behind, with their music and all the gamelan, all the East Indian music that influence, because Balinese is Hindus, right? So
totally.
Bali in Indonesia is the only island that's 90% Hindus.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't realize that.
And then the art in Bali, of course, all that culture, you know, just soaking it my whole growing up. And then, like especially visual. We have so many artists in Indonesia that break through even when Dutch was colony Indonesia, right? All the old art, you know, I was always interesting. There's something, because I always feel like when it comes to like art, you know, I know somehow like I'll make it work to my liking, you know. I never care when I come to my art if people don't like it or not, you know, because it has to come out of me. There's no other way, you know. Otherwise, I'll just be like really miserable, you know. It comes out.
That's cool, man. One thing I find with a lot of people who are artists who are kind of in it for the long game, you know, like we, you know, are sitting here talking about stuff like 15 years later and we're still in it, creating all that kind of stuff, is, you know, is that there's a compulsion, you know. It's like we're not sure sometimes why.
Nobody forced us to do this,
exactly.
You know, because we want, like I want to do, you know, I love doing this.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's just like you have a set of tools, and at any given point in time, you might feel like, you know, like, okay, now I'm going to do this. And then you do it because you're compelled to for some reason. And then, you know, like there's art in the world, you know, like now there's more art in the world. Now you've expressed yourself a certain way.
That's right.
Which is amazing. That's the great thing about art, man. Like sometimes you don't know where it comes from, you know, whether it's
that's all I want to do. You know, if
songs,
I have the choice, you know, I wish that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
If I could, like, you know, if I can pay my rent from,
of course.
Just I don't care about food. Just be able to have room. If I can do that, I would just draw every day and music. You know, like just full blown like Andy Warhol factory kind of, just like every day like that. You know,
that's
but you
cool.
Can't. You know, I understand. I'll get there one day.
Well, exactly,
hopefully.
Man. In terms of the visual art stuff, you know, you create some art, and you know, maybe some friends have your pieces and stuff like that. You know, are you hitting a point where you can have like an art show or anything like that? Is that the kind of thing?
Just with my own art right now, I have about close to like probably 200 drawing, big and small. Big probably like 4 foot around, small like size just like a book. You know, so many like sculpture, and I don't show it to people now. I start showing on Instagram and stuff, you know. But like I have so many. You know, we just file in there. I really want to have a show in town. Like I'm trying to figure out how am I going to do this.
Sure,
I think some of my friends said like, you know, like that's why I love Julie and Emily. They said like, you know, they told me like you can hire a place you can rent a place downtown.
Exactly.
Like the space at night, right? They can be a business during the day. But at night you could turn into like a art and exhibition or something like you know, you make an event and art can stay in the building for a month or for 3 months, you know, and then you make a deal with the owners, how it works and stuff. Like, really? Is that simple? I said, I'm just like, okay.
Well, sure. There are a couple of ways that you can swing that kind of thing, you know. Like for me, having lived in places like Boston and elsewhere, and being in New York a lot last year, you know, like the pop-up art scene is huge. You know, like you put in a lot of effort into marketing, building awareness of what you're doing, and then you announce like, okay, next week, you know, for one day, I'm holding a pop-up exhibition. You know, and you make a big deal out of it, and you know, it keeps your costs down, and you know, you kind of maximize, you really hyper concentrate the work that you do into a pop-up thing like that. Or of course, you know, there are any of the galleries in town, you know, but I'm sure there's like a process to that, right? Like where you have to talk to their curators and make that happen.
See, I don't know how to that's I think my downfall is like, I can create art till I die, like, you know, to the death. I know I can do that, but the business side, I'm learning. I'm trying to get my ass on that department, because that's what I need to focus on. Because there's too many art already just keep stacking up, you know. Because that's all I want to do. But like, I think I should start like maybe taking care of, you know, just talking to people and see if they can I can show my art instead of just making art all the time. I mean, you saw it online, but I like to make it in this town, make it like a band for it,
Of course, like set up a reception. I mean, that's the way.
Yeah,
that's what I did. Okay,
just make like a show kind of, like make it fun though. I don't want to make it like boring, like all
of course
freaking Renaissance kind of art. They're different. This is a brutalism art.
Sure,
like it's brand new.
It's modern art, man. No, I understand. We should talk more about that in earnest, like another time. It'd be really interesting to just follow that train of thought through.
That's right.
Okay, I have one more thing to touch on, I think, today, and that is our collaboration last year.
Yes.
Like bringing Love in Bali, like making that single happen, making the video.
Dude.
So like, obviously, I have like a memory of how it all went down. Do you want to just kind of chat about your, your experience doing that? Like, we demoed the song a couple of times.
Yeah. You were in Boston at the time. We were talking on the phone, right?
Yeah.
No, you're in New York. Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we were talking about like you like the Love in Bali, and then to me, I think that's a really good song to work on. And then I remember we talked a few times, and then we did demo at the college, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We played a few tunes because we were trying to figure out if we wanted to record like an EP or an album or what. And I think, a lot of what people do nowadays, we kind of came to the same conclusion where, okay, let's pick one song.
That's right.
And do the best job we can, get a video, and make like this single take off,
Yeah.
And so we worked, so we did demos at the college. I remember I sequenced, like my ideas of like what the arrangement could be.
That's right.
With like MIDI instruments, and then we worked on that until you're happy with it.
Yeah.
And then we recorded at Justin's place.
Yeah.
What do you remember about recording at Justin's,
man? Justin, man, he's the guy that you go to for recording. He has like good, like when it comes to drum, especially when it comes to like reggae sound. Like he got it. Like his drumming is so good at that. Plus, like we both know him for a while, and like he likes what we do, and just mutual like respect when it comes to like art. Yeah, and he has such a nice place out there to record, man.
Totally, man. That's one thing that came up again with Justin's conversation, a couple of weeks ago, was that. Like us, like we're all like 15 years later from like when we were young and like in it, And so now our relationship with is different. We all have families, we all have work, and so for some of us, it's like, cool. Now there's a little bit of security. So we can like put aside some of our time to just kind of slightly get back into the game a little,
That's true. I think now it's better time, At least now we can more focus on arranging time than when you're young, because you're carefree more back in the day than now.
And you're wrapped up in like being an artist when you're young, like you're trying to figure out what that is, but you're like, I'm an artist.
Right. But you really an artist, are you? I mean, just like
right.
I hate that when you start talking to yourself, like you're always doubting yourself, right? Same with music. I'm like, I never think my music is good enough. I'm always not happy. Maybe that's what kept me going, or I should just listen to all my friends and just keep releasing everything. Who cares anyway? But I don't know. What do you think? I think artists we all like that. We also like really like judgmental to yourself.
It's a part of what we're dealing in is intimacy, right? Like, you're showing somebody, you're showing the world like a very specific part of yourself, and it's like, people always equate sort of the sort of uncomfortableness of like showing someone a new song or something, like, the first time you like, might the first time you might engage romantically with someone, it's like how's this going to go? I don't know. There's a lot of that. You're very self-conscious, very self-aware because you're putting out a part of yourself, it's just out there for the world to see now. And I think, again, talking about this now in 2019, man, I feel like there are some of us who've kept it up. I always tell people that art is being an artist is like, it's the long game,
it's
sometimes
for life.
Sometimes you push hard and then you realize it's not for you, and then you get out of it. And that's like 90% of all people who get into it to begin with. And then there's like that 10% of people, us and a few other folks in town. who you're just going to do it for your entire life. Like that's just a gift.
Yeah, it's not even a choice.
It's not even a choice.
No matter what you do, you're gonna fall into that because I don't know.
Absolutely.
Because it just is. Like,
there's a compulsion.
Yeah.
And the question you asked, man, I think everyone is hypercritical of their own work.
I think, I think that's probably everybody.
Yeah, because part of, for me anyway, like the whole art thing is that you're just like, it's a response to something, you might not even know what it is in real time, right?
Yes.
It's like a snapshot of a thing that you just did, that you felt, maybe after a while you don't feel that way anymore, but it's an important work that, it's an important expression of something.
Yeah.
And
but then again, you hear it from all this big name, they say exactly the same thing too.
Right, exactly.
But they release their stuff and we it,
Yes.
They don't like it, but we like it. And I realized maybe I don't like it, but my friend tell me they like it. But then maybe they bias, because they're my friend, like, no, I'm not biased, they said. Like, I really like it, but I think it'll come to the point that I think not right now, but maybe eventually you'll just release it. You finally just whatever.
Yeah, and that's just it.
Yeah.
Again, if you're compelled to do it, if you're in it for the long game, then you just realize at a certain point in time, like we were talking a second ago, like when you're young, you're caught up in trying to be an artist, but when you're older and you've been doing it for a while, you realize that really it's just like a natural process, like breathing or something.
I think
you're just
so,
you're just gonna write songs, you're gonna play shows, you're gonna create works of art, you're gonna paint, you're gonna draw, and you just keep doing it, and like once you're done with it, okay, then you have to just let go of it into the world. Whether it's your friends buy it, they give you gift it to somebody, they, or whatever the situation is, you play a show, you release a single, you just do it. And so Love in Bali was like, it felt kind of like that. Like we had to do it. Yeah. Like, we were just like, we have to make this happen, and we thought up a video thing.
See, that's the first thing that when I realized, like, I really like that song, it's like, it turned out really good. I'm happy with that. But like, I have to stop what I did with like Billboard and stuff. Like, I think it just needs more instrument or something.
Gotcha.
But eventually I will release it.
Sure.
Because, But so perfectionist. Like, I hated myself for that.
I understand.
Like, why can't I be just like, just put it out? And same with my painting. Yeah, I give it away my whole life, because I like it for that second until it's done, and then for 5 minutes when it's done, you stare at me and it's like, okay, the idea passed.
Exactly.
It's already there. The idea that you put painting, right? Because. Yeah, but now I want to sell my painting now because I give it enough away that I now find my style. I'm confident now. I know exactly what I'm talking about in my painting without even explain it. When you're looking at it close by in the real life, you'll see it. Like my soul's in there.
Totally. I got you, man.
Yeah.
That's maybe that's a good place to end today's conversation. Yeah. I feel like we'll do this again.
Yes, no, that's true.
We're gonna have like a great sort of like linear, catch up of like everything that we've done.
Before that, I have a surprise for you.
Okay,
I bought you
sure.
Yeah. You relax me,
dude. Thank you, man.
There you go. This one called Summer, Prairie Summer.
Prairie Summer, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I wrote something in the back right here.
Let's do this. Wait. There we go. We'll be that's.
I think this is how it goes.
Let me see.
Right there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha, dude. I'm gonna place this right here. There we go.
There you go.
Oh, now it's
right here. I'll put this
microphone. Perfect. Now it's in focus. There you go. Make sure. Man, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, dude. And Lakshmi's gonna love it too, man.
I hope
She's
so.
Gonna love it. I'm sure.
I have this series pending called Prairie Wind. Yeah, so this one is Prairie Summer.
That's interesting, dude. That's so cool. So whenever we chat next time, again, it'd be great to maybe look at some more pieces, like more visual pieces that you have.
Yes.
Talk about some songs or whatever, but like this is a really interesting thing. I'm really happy because I see your Instagram posts all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a great thing. I think it's good.
I think
again,
so too.
like you're saying, to put it out there. Now,
My
man.
plan is like one painting a day for a year straight.
Oh, cool. Okay.
If I can do 2 a day, it'd be nice, but at least once a day for a year.
Absolutely.
That's my goal, and I'm sticking to it every day. I'm gonna put out one painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So, yeah.
Dude, I'm so happy to hear it, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Arjun.
Oh, come on. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it so much.
No problem.
It's always a pleasure chatting. I'm glad that we could do this, you know, for this little old podcast, you know. I'll put links to your music in the description of this.
Yes.
And then what's your handle on Instagram?
Just Cardino Budiman.
Oh, it's Cardino. Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
the
feel like
opposite.
yeah. Okay, got it.
I think they made it for me. I tried to do,
really?
but somehow it's just poop, and it's Cardino Budiman. Oh, I don't want to change it, so I just leave it. But
so
it's Cardino
if you're interested
Budiman.
in checking out Budiman's work, his visual art, check out on Instagram Cardino Budiman, Kardino Budiman, all one word, you know, lowercase, for Budi's posts of his visual art. Other than that, I'll post links below for the music stuff.
Yes.
And let's do this again.
I know.
And thank you, everyone for listening. If you haven't yet, please hit on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe.
That's right.
Keep coming back. There's going to be, I thought this would be like
get yourself a hobby.
Get yourself a hobby. Exactly. I thought this would be like 10 or 12 episodes of this, but like all my friends are so cool. So, it's like part 2 and 3 are going to come. And so soon there'll be like 30 of these things, I'm sure. But lots more content coming up. So please hit subscribe.
Yeah.
If you're on Facebook, like the page, like the video. If you're mentioned in this video, thanks. I don't know. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.